In case you missed it, today is YNW Melly's bail hearing. According to reports, his legal team believes their release package is more than enough to secure his release, as they are using two different angles to support their case. The situation inside jail has also raised serious concerns. Melly's own mother explained during an interview that they have evidence proving he is not being treated like a human being while incarcerated. This treatment is considered illegal, as jails are required to protect and uphold the basic rights of their inmates.
You saw Melly's statement just saying how he's been hurt, how he's scared for his life. As a mother, how did that make you feel?
It's heartbreaking. It made me feel completely helpless. Broward Sheriff's Office definitely needs to be investigated. I mean, they are making up their own rules. We tried to go to court about this situation. The judge really doesn't have any jurisdiction when it comes to the jail, because we actually had a hearing about the mistreatment of him, and the jail they make their own rules. And I don't think that's fair, because I know that they need to answer to someone too.
They then presented evidence from the original trial to challenge the federal claim that Melly committed the crime inside the Jeep. His legal team revealed GPS data from his cell phone provider, which shows that YNW Melly was actually seen sprinting down a nearby street and hiding in a bush at the time of the incident, directly contradicting the narrative put forward by prosecutors.
That would be the part he's saying that someone just shut the car up and was trying to shoot them. So I asked him if he was okay, where he was, and he's like, there's a car coming behind him, and I'm hiding. He was like, there's some, there's some, I think they're still out here or something. So I'm like, are you okay? He's like, I'm okay. I said, well, where are Zach and Juby? And he said, I don't know if they're in the car. I think they're...
To support their claim that the incident was actually a drive-by shooting, Melly's lawyers plan to introduce further evidence from the original trial. They point out that no firearm was ever recovered at the scene, which strongly suggests that the weapon was taken by the actual perpetrator as they fled. This lack of physical evidence aligns with the theory that the shooter drove away with the gun, rather than it being an internal act within the vehicle.
So the first thing is I didn't have a firearm, so I can't know which firearm I'm going to use in order to replicate any of my tests. So I can't make tests for this determination because I don't know what I was used.
Okay.
However, the prosecutors are expected to present their own compelling arguments for why YNW Melly should remain in jail. One of their strongest points of evidence is a text message reportedly found on Melly's phone, sent just hours after the crime, which allegedly reads, "I did that." This message, if authenticated and placed in the right context, could significantly damage Melly's defense and reinforce the prosecution's narrative.
PC Gambino asked him if he was okay, and his response was, "I did that," and placed a smiley face emoji.
And the next message from 10/26/2018 at 16:02 from Eastern Standard Time. The YNW Melly account says what?
After that, S-H-H-H-H.
Also discovered on Melly's phone was a saved video from someone's Facebook Live, showing both Melly and Bortland just 6 hours after the crime had occurred, seen dancing in a parking lot. This footage raised eyebrows as prosecutors argue it reflects a disturbing lack of remorse so soon after the incident.
Melly still turned regardless of what happened this early morning. He's still out here being very popular. Turned still. Hey! But still turned. Regardless of what happened, you already know.
The video showed not even an ounce of sadness for the passing of their two best friends, but what made things more disturbing was a new piece of evidence revealed by a rogue O-Block member. He claimed that YNW Melly's motive for committing the crime was rooted in financial greed, alleging that Melly didn't want to share his earnings with the other YNW members.
Did Vaughn really tell you that Melly told him that he was two friends?
He ain't come out and say, like, we got into an argument. And so, if when people can say something without saying it. And so he told me, like, once I posted what I posted, Vern was mad at me, bro. Why you put that, bro? Who out the bam? I'm like, you sitting up here like you know the love we got. You do this for us, but you gonna trust that his two friends? And he said, them was trying to extort him. And so I'm like, if they was trying to extort him, then why are you still around them?
This was supposed to be a secret Melly had only shared with King Von, but sadly, Von allegedly passed the information on to O-Block members before his death. As YNW is a registered LLC, Melly and Bortlin were actively performing concerts, selling merchandise, and doing promotions to bring in income. However, Sack Chaser and Juvie wanted a cut of that money despite not contributing to the business side. The scariest part, though, is that the prosecutors don't even seem to care whether YNW Melly is granted bond before trial. That's because they've already made a move that could ruin his entire future. They submitted legal paperwork to try Melly and Bortlin together in the next trial, all for one specific and strategic reason.
Here, and you can try them together. It is to the benefit of the state to try them together, just more efficient. You don't have to do things again and again. Do it all at once, and also get a better chance of having them incriminate each other during the trial. It benefits the defense to sever it. That way they can point the finger at each other and get away with it. So this is what's going on. But I don't think it should be automatically severed because the state is seeking penalty for Melly, because it's only the penalty phase of the trial that would be different, not the guilt phase. The guilt phase is the same. They're both capital crimes. They're seeking the penalty on one, not the other, but that goes into the second part of the trial, the penalty phase, only if Melly is found guilty.
Now it's common sense. If YNW Bortlin knows he didn't commit this serious crime, he likely won't be able to sit quietly and take a life sentence without a fight. This increases the chances that, when the pressure mounts, he may end up pointing the finger at Melly. What many people don't know is that YNW Melly's lawyer already attempted to shift the blame onto Bortlin during the original trial, trying to create enough reasonable doubt to protect Melly.
Those were his lives. Cortland Henry shows up at Memorial Hospital, Miramar. You don't see him sitting there, but where you will see him sitting is in the driver's seat of a car, two bodies, car riddled with bullets. And when he shows up with a change of clothing, change of shirt, powder residue on his hands, evidencing that he had discharged a firearm. And he lies. He lies about where the incident occurred. He lies about how it occurred. And he lies about not having the phone. I think it was Miss Bradley herself who said, everybody has a phone in the pocket, not Cortland Henry.
That was YNW Melly's own lawyer, revealing that it was always Bortlin who had been lying to the feds, claiming that he, not Melly, had gunpowder residue on his hands and was present with Juvie and Sack Chaser when they passed away. Melly's legal team even brought in a forensic scientist to testify in detail, confirming that Bortlin had tested positive for gunpowder residue, further supporting their argument that Bortlin, not Melly, was more directly involved in the crime.
So the right hand of Cortland Henry contained 0 particles characteristic of plant residue and two component particles. And the left hand contained 1 particle characteristic of plant residue and 1 two-component particle.
And can you explain to us what that means?
Basically, overall, there was plant residue present on the hands.
Rumor has it that Bortlin and Melly haven't spoken since the events unfolded, and this tension only grew when Bortlin became upset with Melly's defense strategy. According to reports, when Melly's mistrial was declared, Bortlin tweeted a cryptic message that read, "Mind games don't work on people like me," accompanied by a handshake emoji. This seemed to indicate that Bortlin might be accepting some sort of deal, likely instructed to stay silent until Melly's final sentencing. However, Melly's lawyer has suggested that Bortlin will eventually speak out, potentially changing the course of the trial. In a further twist, Melly's ex-girlfriend Mariah Hamilton is also being drawn into the case. She was recently arrested after skipping Melly's first trial and fleeing the United States. Her involvement could add more fuel to the fire, as prosecutors now have a potential witness who may hold critical information regarding the case.